and welcome to Page 3 Hot Topics. This is the Daily Stars show every week where you get to talk to the Page 3 girls about topics of the week and the juiciest ones. We've got a lot to talk about. It was a massive fight this weekend with Anthony Joshua, where we saw him lose and went into a post-fight rant. We'll also be speaking about knife crime, as well as a GTA game. We've got the first female protagonist, which is quite exciting for gamers. So if you have got any comments or questions about any of the topics that we discuss, then you can pop them in the comment section below and then we can get them answered for you. But I don't think we've had this particular Page 3 Hot Topics panel on before. So let's introduce them then. We've got Barbi, who is abroad at the moment, looking very tanned and lovely. Barbi, welcome.
Thank you.
Hello. And then, of course, we've got Daisy in the top right-hand corner. And we've got Kate in the bottom left-hand corner. Hello. Okay, girls. So we will go into things then with the AJ fight. I think you had to be living under a rock if you didn't see everything that was happening on social media afterwards, if you're not necessarily into sports. He went on a bit of a post-fight rant. Daisy, what do you think about this?
Oh, I do think it's very unjustified, and it is embarrassing. I get that it's his passion. I get that, that's his bread and butter. He does it all day, every day, and he's so passionate about it. But his team should have really saved him from making a fool of himself, really. I get that emotions are high in the situation, but it was very unjustified.
Yeah. And also he's been in the game for so long now. Surely don't nibble like that. Don't nibble. Barbi, what do you think? Do you think, perhaps we should be more understanding of AJ?
I think it's definitely only human what he's done. However, his management should have definitely done something about it before it got as far as it got. Emotions were high and that shouldn't have really happened. At the end of the day, it's kind of giving him a bad name in the press now.
Yeah, it has. Lots of people had things to say on it. Kev, I'm the one living under a rock. Who is he? Well, Kate, tell Kev who he is.
A boxing fight, Anthony Joshua, and the other person's name begins with U. Please, someone pronounce it before I do it wrong.
Now, I'm not gonna pronounce it in case I get it wrong as well. So you're not putting me in that.
Good.
But it was a Ukrainian fighter.
Very good fighter, yeah. Basically, Anthony Joshua had challenged him to a rematch. They fought in London last year, I believe. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Anthony Joshua didn't win, and he kind of took the mic at the end and started saying this thing. I just felt like he really stole the limelight. And the way his speech was, it was like, oh, let's all give a round of applause, because, to the person that won. But it was like Anthony Joshua had won, but he hadn't. So, and then his speech, the other guys, was really professional. So I do think they should have took the mic off him 100%.
Also, sportsmanship. This Ukrainian fighter has obviously had a lot going on in his home country. Perhaps it's time to just let him have his moment.
Yeah, I agree. And I really think that Anthony Joshua didn't let him have that moment. So
no, well, I mean, that was the only headlines we kind of got from it, was the post-fight rant from AJ. We did see at the end, Eddie Hearn was in that next press conference with him, not the first one, but the next one, saying, look, there'll be lots of things on social media, but we do have to understand at the end of the day, people aren't going to be in the same position as these guys are in, etc. Barbi, I mean, do you have any other thoughts on this? Do you think if you were AJ's management, what you would have done? I mean, you've said that you think that you would intervene, but anything else?
I would have just made sure he didn't even get to that point. Like, I would have probably took him to the side and said, look, you take it as a loss and show how good you are to the public. Things like that. He shouldn't have even got to the point where he got hold of a microphone and embarrassed himself.
Yeah, and it was embarrassing. Kev, I guess it was 50-50 ratio on who was going to win. There can only be one winner. That is a very diplomatic way of looking at things. Daisy, would you have any words for the Ukrainian winner who perhaps thought that AJ taking the mic was a bit of a low blow?
I think, like I just said, emotions were high. it was something that he was so passionate about. Like he wanted a rematch. So, you know, it's not just a sore loss the first time, it's now times 2. So, you know, I think he won at the end of the day. He's probably got that to go by. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't believe we got to that point. I do feel like the management should have probably prepared him for, you know, worst case scenario, how are we going to deal with the situation if we get there? But like I said, emotions high, second blow.
And I'm sure looking back probably won't be happening again. I'm sure he's probably learned his lesson. He probably looks back at that and is cringing himself out. Kate, do you think this is just a thing of just being in the spotlight? Sometimes you do things that you regret and you wish you'd just never done, and you look back and again, as I just said, cringe yourself out over it and think, why on earth did I just do that?
Yeah, he probably will. Maybe he'll do a third match. Maybe he'll challenge him again. No, I don't know. It's hard though. It's so important to him, and he's improved drastically from last year. But so is the other guy. So, and
also, I mean, the argument is right that, you know, Anthony Joshua is a heavyweight fighter. And they were obviously very, very different kinds of fighters, but he knew the match that he was getting himself involved in, should I say. And, you know, we have to bear in mind he still will be getting a lot of money from even taking part in that match. So let's not feel too sorry for him, girls, I don't think. But yes, that is what we're going to be kicking off today about AJ. So if you're tuning in later and you have any more comments on the subject, then just pop them in the comment section below and we can bring them up further on in Hot Topics today. But for you gamers out there, of course, Grand Theft Auto, it flies off the shelves every time it gets released. It's going to have its first female protagonist, which is quite exciting, I think. But some people are saying that they're sexualizing her too much. You know, perhaps it should be someone who's apparently a little bit stronger, etc. I mean, that's the look of her. I do think this is a good thing, Daisy.
Yeah, I do think it's a good thing. Like, I don't play video games, so forgive me. But even in like action movies and stuff nowadays, you've always got the Bond girl, and there's always a woman involved in it now as well. So why not do it in the virtual reality world as well?
Well, exactly. And it might actually appeal to a whole new audience of young female gamers, don't you think, Kate?
Yeah, 100%. I really agree with it. I think it's a great thing for them to do, and we'll just attract more people of it, and not just being obviously men in the game. So I'm all for it.
Barbie, obviously we can see here that there she is. Do you think she's too sexualized in this? Some people are saying she's too sexualized.
No, I think she looks good, and it's good for women to have that. Like, it's always been a man thing, so I think it's good.
Yeah. Does anyone think that there's any negative connotations with this, Daisy?
No, I actually don't. I mean, even if they stuck her in a roll neck, someone would be unhappy with that anyway. So I think she looks fabulous.
It's true. It's true. Now, Kate, let's say you had children. Would you, I mean, for young boys, you see lots of gamers, but would you encourage your young daughter to start playing GTA now that there was a female protagonist in there, or would you just prefer not?
Yeah, I think gaming's fun. Definitely encourage it.
Okay.
I'm not very good, but yeah.
Would you encourage it, Barbie?
I wouldn't encourage it, but if they wanted to do it, then that's up.
Yeah, and it's nice to see change and stuff happening, isn't it? So we took this to a poll to see what you gamers on the Star thought about this subject. Should there be more female protagonists in video games? And yes, 66%. So that's actually quite nice to hear, because I thought the poll would be the other way around, to be honest. So there's definitely a market for it, and it is nice to see. I'm all for female empowerment, as you know, girls. So okay, interesting to see if other game franchises take a leaf out of their book and try to do that. But we're going to move on now onto some really sad news we heard over the weekend. Tyson Fury has called on the government to do more to tackle knife crime after he posted on Instagram that his cousin was stabbed to death on Saturday night. There was his post that he put up. Obviously, absolutely horrific news. And our thoughts are with Tyson's family at this time. But it goes without saying, more does need to be done to stop knife crime. Daisy, any thoughts on what can be done in order to get to groups who perhaps are exposed to that side of things, always carrying knives on them?
I just think it's so scary, isn't it? Because it can just happen anywhere. But I suppose, obviously, it is a really hard issue to tackle down on because, like I said, it could happen when you're walking down the street. But purchasing knives, I suppose that should be harder. Like, I don't know if you can just go online and order one. Like bags, and I don't know. It's just really hard. Like in clubs and bars, I think definitely like more should be done on the searching front. Like a normal pat down or just checking your ID. That probably isn't enough anymore. And I'm not saying it needs to be. It's a bit of a shame it's kind of got to the stage where it probably does need to be a little bit like passport security. But it's hard. Like anywhere. I think it's terrifying personally.
Well, in schools, they have lots of metal detectors these days, etc., to see if students are carrying knives on them into school. That's obviously not compulsory in all schools, but areas which knife crime is on the up. But obviously, they can't help outside of school hours either. Barbi, I mean, would you have any sort of wants and to what can be done to tackle knife crime? It's such a huge topic, and there's more than obviously one thing that can be done. But what would you suggest?
Pretty much the same as what Daisy said. Like, there's so much complaint now, like in nightclubs, and it's getting to like passport security. So all I can suggest is that we carry on doing that, and even in more public places like restaurants and maybe even shopping malls, like get the security checks in, and definitely where they can feel everything, and even if it's just like a bleed, see if there's any knives or anything damaging thing in there. But yeah, there's not much more we can do than we already have.
But do you think a big part of that is scaremongering, Kate, by putting all of these metal detectors and stuff out there, or do you think it's genuinely needed?
I think that would be hard to do it everywhere, to put metal detectors. I think a good way to go at it would be, I don't know what the punishment is if, I was caught carrying a knife around, even if I didn't do anything with it, but like it should probably be harsher, and they should educate it more in schools. But if they had that harsher punishment, people wouldn't carry knives around, maybe. So
it's an extremely complicated subject, and of course people turn to knife crime that we know who are from more deprived and poorer backgrounds and stuff, as they get exposed to that side of the, I guess, social world that they live in. So it's awful, and with the cost of living and stuff, who knows what the statistics will be. And that's what it is really at the end of the day. People who get caught with knives, they go on to statistics on police records, which is extremely sad. Kev, I think the police need to be back walking the streets on the beat and deterring gangs from hanging around on the streets. But there has been massive police cuts, we know, which definitely probably hasn't helped. John said, let's stop knife crime. Shops, stop selling knives. Too many stabbings need to stop. Barbi, what do you say back to that? Shops, stop selling knives.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Maybe like you need some form of ID to buy a knife. Like I know you already do, but maybe like, you are a chef, like you can prove that you're a chef, or for some reason that you'd need a knife to prove that.
Yeah, obviously as you said, they do ID them. I mean, Kate, what do you think about that with shops stop selling knives?
I think they obviously do ID at the minute. But if you're gonna get a knife, like every house is gonna have a kitchen knife, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, people can't be on their knives all the time, like parents thinking, how many knives do I have? I wonder if my child's taken one. I don't think, I would think if anyone, use a knife for knife crime, then just get it from home. I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know.
I don't know. Daisy, what would you say back to Kate?
No, I actually do think the same thing. Like, I couldn't tell you how many knives I've got in my kitchen drawer. Like, I wouldn't know if one went missing if I had children, for example. But I do think you probably need to, like, get to the root and the issue of why it's happening. Like, it's a horrible thing to say, but it's happening more and more. And the more young people that see it are thinking, oh, I need to carry a knife now as well. Maybe like schools, that rather than doing PE and teaching hockey, they should do like boxing or Muay Thai or like anger management in other ways other than fighting and weapons.
That's an interesting point. Different, and giving them different focus, perhaps. But obviously, all these different schemes with councils, etc. It is going on, but unfortunately, other subjects and other curricular activities are taking more at the forefront to students. So yeah, it's very, very difficult. But yeah, horrific news over the weekend. And as we said at the beginning, our thoughts are with Tyson Fury's family. But we are going to move on now. We have already mentioned about the cost of living crisis, which is apparent and very shocking, and hopefully there'll be something to be done about it when we get a new PM, but they'll still be under the Conservative government, so we shall see. But we're not going to go into politics. We're gonna stick to Asda supermarket value shopping. So they have released a new range which has all of your essentials, all of your family favourites, for a cheaper price. And so I can see from there, it's £1.20 for a Big Mac and cheese. And obviously with bills going through the roof, this is really going to be putting families who are on the breadline into fuel poverty, essentially. And they'll be using food banks more. So this is why they have released the range. It's been welcomed by lots of people, but some people are saying it's poor shaming because it's bright yellow. And obviously, if you're doing your family shop and that's all you can afford, which is totally fine, but it's embarrassing to then go to the checkout with a whole load of bright yellow products because everyone knows that you can't afford the top of the range products instead. What do you think about this, Barbie?
I think it's brilliant, to be fair. I asked my mum when she was doing it to go and try some of those products out, and I personally had one of the meals, and I think it's just as good as any other price, like what you pay for a higher price meal. So I don't really see the issue. Like, the government are trying to help, Asda's trying to help by reducing the costs, and I just think whether it's bright yellow or not, it's still helping you. So why does it really matter?
Yeah, I mean, the other side of the coin is it's embarrassing to go up if you're doing a big family shop. Daisy, thoughts?
Yeah, I think obviously it's amazing. You can get your whole family favourites on a budget. But when I saw it in the trolley, like, I get what you're saying. It is very, very yellow. Like, it does really stick out. Why yellow? I would never go to the supermarket and look in someone else's trolley or their basket and think, ooh, that's what they're having for dinner.
Hopefully you'd have some social awareness, not to.
Yeah, but that does stick out. So, and one, obviously it's great, but maybe another colour would have been a better option.
Yeah, another colour might have been a better option. Kate?
I think it's a great idea what they're doing. I think when they made it, they had good ideas behind it, but just didn't really think the colour through. And I think now a lot of stores as well, they do have a basic range where it isn't as bright, but they should probably change the colour. But one of the reasons is because everyone's talking about it now. So I get why people can maybe feel embarrassed because it's a distinctive thing of that's their budget range. It's been all over, all over the news. So yeah, I don't think they meant anything malicious by it. They just didn't.
No, and obviously this would have gone through a whole load of brand groups research groups before they set it out onto the shops. Kev said there's always been a cheaper option. Tesco have the value range, and you can forget Happy Shopper. They all stick out, and it's true. They all have a certain look to them, as do branded products. Paula, here she is. We have bought the products and they are great. No issues here, no matter what the packaging is like. And Barbi, you have said you have tasted the products. What products did you taste?
I had a sweet and sour chicken freeze meal just to try it out in general, and I think it's the same as any other. And I think if you're gonna be embarrassed, I don't understand if you was that desperate, you wouldn't be embarrassed. I just get whatever I need in that time. It doesn't matter whether it's yellow, purple, pink, white.
And if you are really desperate, you won't actually be that bothered, hopefully, by the colour of the food packaging. But then again, there is a backlash for a reason, so their voice does need to be heard. Kev, you're loving it today. It's great they stick out, makes it easier to find on the shelves for people looking for the cheaper range. That is true. Now, Daisy, from a shopper consumer perspective, have you avoided brands from the way that they looked when it came down to food?
No, I haven't, in all honesty, no. Like I said, I don't ever go to the supermarket and look in anyone else's basket or think anyone's looking in mine and judging. I'm in the supermarket, I know what I've got to get, and I literally just grab and go. So it wouldn't put me off at all. Everyone loves a bargain. And also on Instagram now, there's loads of reels, and there's TikToks of how I feed my family of 4 on a 25 budget shopping thing a week. It's becoming fashionable to keep it cheap and simple, because that's what everybody needs to do now, and that's what everyone wants with everything getting so expensive. So yeah, I think it's a good thing as well, and I'm sure we'll see some trends come out on how I feed my family with all these Asda bargains and dinners that I make. 100%. I follow this thing called Mob Kitchen, and it's cooking for a family under a £5, and it's so good. It's so good, and it's really fresh stuff as well. So, you literally have to cook everything from fresh, but it's all under a £5, and I love it, and I absolutely love it. And with bills going through the roof and food shops just going to be insanely expensive, and it's only going to get worse, I think stuff like this is needed, personally. Kate, final thoughts from you then on this range?
Yeah, I'd like to try it, to be honest. I wonder though, do you know in Asda, have they got a whole aisle dedicated to this stuff, or is it spread out? I'd really
that's an interesting question. Barbi, can you shed any light on this?
Yeah, so it's actually spread out. So the meal was in one place, and you can get eggs in another place, pasta in another place. It's not all on one aisle. It's all normally find you. Anyway.
Oh, okay, that's interesting, because I was going to say if it was kind of all on one aisle, I get how people would have a problem with that, but if it's spread out, that's fine. But yeah, I think branding can make a difference in purchasing decisions. I wouldn't say about food though. I wouldn't, not buy something because of the branding, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have to bear in mind, these massive shops are obviously getting a lot of profits each year, and it's nice to see a shop which isn't so heavy on a profit margin that they're doing this, because they can't be making that much money from it, to be honest. But if it means that more families are shopping there, then I guess it would be better for them. But no, it's nice to see that, and I think more shops should be doing the same, really, to set the standard, especially with everything going on and food banks going to be used more and more. But yeah, thank you for all your thoughts, girls, and I'll be sure to be trying it as well. Barbi, I'll try the sweet and sour chicken. I'll let you know how I get on with that one. Are you nibbling on some sweet and sour chicken right now?
No, I wish I was.
I don't know if you've got covered or something. Okay then. Well, we are on to the really light side of the show now, after some quite heavy topics this week. And it's the hot seat with Barbi. So, Barbi. This is the point where anybody can ask you questions that they would like about anything other than anything too explicit or too personal, because we don't need that. It's been quite a while since you've been in the hot seat, Barbi. So Daisy, to kick things off, I'd like to start with you, please.
What is a luxury that you cannot live without?
A luxury that I cannot live without. Probably just my phone, just purely because I work on it 24/7. I could not live without it.
Yeah, that is a straightforward answer. That's going to kick things off very, very safe.
I went safe first.
We're gonna get hotter as the hot seat goes on. Kate.
What did you want to be when you were younger? Did you always want to be a model?
I never wanted to be anything. I didn't really get to that point. I didn't know where I'd go. Never had any intention of being a model. It happened really naturally. Like I wasn't like in my head that I wanted to be a model. It just happened. So I didn't really know what I was going to be.
Okay. Daisy, back to you now.
Have you been on any good dates lately?
Yes. Date night every week.
Okay. Very nice. Okay then. So it's my question now. Now you've said that. Now let yourself into a whole world of things. How did you meet the person you're now dating?
The same way everybody meets these days, Instagram.
Okay. And who slid into whose DMs?
He slid into mine.
Love it. Love it. Okay, good. Kate, your turn.
So you've obviously got a large following. Talking of DMs, have anyone famous been in there? You don't need to say if they have, like who they are, but like what's your DMs like?
Yeah, like if you could see them, it's like another celebrity each day.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Who's the type of celebrity, like reality TV or like footballery?
More like footballer, rapper style.
Interesting. Okay. Daisy, your turn.
So what does a DM have to contain for it to stand out to you like it did on the Successful Dater?
Not the usual like just like sliding into DMs like emojis. That just doesn't interest me at all. It's got to be something like catching. I usually like people to start like say my name rather than just being like hi. I can't even remember what that DM was, so I couldn't even tell you.
Good save. Good save. Okay. Kate.
So we're talking about Instagram, I guess, for a little bit. I block a fair few people on Instagram every week who send me weird messages, but like you must block a lot of people. How many people would you say you do in a week?
I got to the point where I actually unblocked everybody on my list because I thought
probation.
Yeah, like good or bad publicity, still publicity for me. So I just thought, if you want to watch me, if you want to hate me, if you want to love me, then just do it.
That is such a good shout. That is such a good shout. I mean, obviously, nowhere near you girls' level, like my Instagram, but I always get people who are like viewing my stories who don't follow me, but I definitely know who they are and they definitely know who I am. And I'm like, just follow me, hun. If you're that obsessed with my life, just follow me.
Yeah, literally.
But I hid them from seeing my stories. But actually, maybe I should do what you did and like, if you're that obsessed,
hide them, let them see.
That's good advice. Okay, Daisy, your turn.
What you go on quite a lot of holidays, but what's the best holiday for you that you've ever been on that sticks out more than the rest?
That's a hard one. Probably either I've got a top three, so Fiji, New York and Santorini.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Santorini.
It's unreal. You should go.
Thing is, it's like one of those ones you can't do on a budget. Like if I'd want to go, I want to go like to town, like stay in one of those, like swim in the little cave, come out with like a little fruit platter and a glass of champagne.
Don't want much Pandora.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hoping for a nice press trip. Anyone watching? No, obviously, absolutely not. Anyway, Kate, your turn now.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you kind of want to go in the future?
To be honest, I don't really have a plan. Just as long as I'm healthy, happy, and successful, then that's all that matters.
Oh, that's so wholesome. Charlotte, the producer behind the scenes, what's the nicest thing your new man has done for you so far?
Probably taking me to Santorini to ask me to be his girlfriend there, rather than just asking me like at home. So I like.
So what day into the holiday did he ask you to be?
He knows that I like odd numbers. Like I do not like even numbers. So he waited till the 1st of June. So I think that was like maybe 5 days in.
Oh, this is so cute.
No, that's so sweet. That's so wholesome. That is so
That's
wholesome.
why it's your favourite holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's your favourite.
Definitely.
Sweet. Sweet, that glow. And okay, who's got a really juicy one to finish off then? Come on, girl.
I had one, but I don't think it's that juicy. I just wanted to ask it.
I want juice.
Have you I assume you have introduced the new guy to your mum, but she's very important to you, isn't she? So if she had said to you after you got back from Santorini, I don't think I like him, would you have taken her opinion on board, or?
So actually what happened was like he'd met my whole family like a few months before I went to Santorini. So I made sure like before it got any further that they all liked him, because I think if they turned around, especially my mum, if she turned around and said she didn't like him, I don't think there's no hope for me.
Really? Would you be like, sorry, my mum doesn't like you, bye?
Literally.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. No, I love that. You and your mum's relationship is so special.
So cute.
But yeah, thank you for being in the hot seat with Sweet Barbi. You're lucky it's this panel on and Chloe's not on.
No, oh my God.
Because she will be going in.
Could have the real juicy questions.
But thank you, girls. This has been all very entertaining. If you're watching this back, then we hope you're enjoying yourself wherever you are. And we'll be on next week. You can catch all of the highlights over on our Twitter, over on our Instagram, where we put up daily stories of the catch-up. You can give the girls a follow on there, see what they're all up to, and we will be back next week. Thanks, girls.
Thank you.
Bye.